can you stomach an 80% drop is you have to have some balls. You're not actually building life-changing wealth. Cryptocurrency implies high volatility. Losses like you would never see in any other type of investment. Do you know what makes a cryptocurrency investor successful? It all comes down to mindset. So today, we're gonna talk about that in a lot more detail. And first, I'm just gonna start out by telling you a story about my childhood. I remember this day like it was yesterday. I was over at my grandparents' house and I was all excited to see my grandmother and grandfather. My father was there and I was sitting across the table from him and I asked him, "Dad, how do I become more successful? How do I make more money?" And he said, "Go over there and talk to your grandfather." So I went over to Grandpa, asked him the exact same question, and he was going through all of his dividend-paying stocks, looking through the newspaper, trying to figure out how much money he was going to get paid that month from his investments. And he sat me down and said the most profound thing to me, really the most valuable lesson of my life, which is, "Jason, you can't work for money. You have to have money working for you. Otherwise, you'll never be successful." And I really thought about that for a while and tried figuring out what he really meant by that because I was only 8 years old. I didn't know what that really meant, but it stuck in my head. And then we started to talk about the stock market, investments, interest, all of that stuff, and it really had a huge impact on me. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, we have to look at it from a different frame of reference, okay? The model of investing in the stock market takes a lifetime. It is wealth preservation. So if you don't have a lot of capital to begin with, or you don't make a lot of money, meaning a high salary or high wages, then it's very difficult to become what I would consider successful in the stock market. That's not to say that you can't make money over 10 to 40 to 50 years. You can. You can make a lot of money over that time period. But will you make life-changing wealth? Yeah, you probably will, but it'll take you 40 years to do it. I looked at that model and I was always thinking to myself, well, how do I do it faster? How do I really push this to become more successful quicker? Because the grandpa model, as much as I love the model, it's really just wealth preservation. You're not actually building life-changing wealth quickly, right? So that's what I wanted to accomplish. The big thing when it comes to cryptocurrency is you have to have some balls. And I really mean this because cryptocurrency implies high volatility. It's a new asset class, and you have to be willing to sort of accept the fact that you're going to have really high gains, but you're also going to have magnified losses. Losses like you would never see in any other type of investment. Can you stomach an 80% drop in your investments after you've made a lot of money? It's really hard to do that. Do you get scared? Does that terrify you? The way I avoid thinking like that and living in that state of fear in my mindset is I always tell myself that it's all risky. No matter what you do, it's all risky. Jim Rohn has a saying that goes, getting married is risky, having children is risky, investing is risky, and imagine how risky it is when you get the bill for not investing. So think of it that way. It's all risky, no matter what you do. So you may as well be in the game and actually make money doing it. That's the way I see it. So now I want to talk about the kind of thinking and the mindset that you shouldn't have. So you'll see people talk about just go and buy Bitcoin. They're just a maximalist, right? They'll just tell you, go buy Bitcoin, just go buy Ethereum, go buy this one asset. And that is very close-minded thinking, because if that asset tanks, you're screwed. That's just the way it is. Now, with that said, if it goes up the highest, you also made the most reward. But I'm not a believer in maximalism because things change all the time. So I am a believer in a slightly diversified portfolio, just to reduce some of that risk and some of the volatility that you'll have to stomach. So another thing that you need to avoid, leverage trading. Yes, I've done a lot of leverage trading. Even though I love it, it gives you this high because you're living on the edge. You can make a ton of money really fast. The problem is you can get wrecked, and I mean wrecked. The last leverage trade I did, I got annihilated, and I'll never leverage trade again. And so the reason for this is because you get a high from doing it. So therefore, you are willing to just continue to take on more risk, and eventually you get wrecked. So don't leverage trade. I don't encourage that at all. The next thing that you shouldn't do, aside from being a maximalist, doing high leverage trades, the next thing is you shouldn't be just investing in shitcoins.
I don't understand.
So what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people, they see the run-up of Shiba Inu or Dogecoin, and they say to themselves, wow, those meme coins, they really took off. I should just go and invest in a bunch of meme coins. No, you shouldn't. Not if you don't already have a solid bag of cryptocurrency in more secure assets. I don't prescribe to that approach at all. It's a great way to lose your money. It's a great way to get rug pulled, and it's certainly not the right mindset for me, and not a mindset that I would recommend for anybody. In addition to having portfolio balance, you also need to constantly consider what are the fundamentals of the securities that I'm investing in. Is it a good project? Is it a good company? Who's behind it? How many people? What is the team? These are all things you have to consider on the fundamental side. And then you have to look at what the technicals are showing you. Where is it in the charts? Has it had a big run up? Has it had a big drop? What data can I go off of to create some instinctual analysis? That's what you need in addition to just looking at the fundamentals where, okay, we got the fundamentals figured out. We know it's a good project. The technicals look good. We think it's going to go up. Now we look at the quantitative analysis. What are the indicators showing? So you look at this stuff, you look at the risk levels, you go through this and you start to build a strategy. And that strategy over time becomes instinctual. Whenever you look at an investment, it's not difficult anymore. You just automatically go through this process in your head. And that is how you make successful picks when it comes to cryptos. It's very important that you have a strategy because most people just jump into crypto, no clue. They don't know what they're buying. They're just like, well, I'm just gonna buy some crypto. Don't do that. Have a strategy, be selective with your choices, and really think about what you're doing. Don't just jump right in without putting some thought behind why you're making the investment choices you're making. The next big blunder as to what you shouldn't do from an investment standpoint is just try to get lucky, right? We talked about just investing in shitcoins, just trying to get lucky, using it as a casino. That's the wrong mentality because have I gotten lucky before? Yeah, I have. And it's great when it happens, but if it didn't happen, I'd get completely wiped out. So don't use it as a casino. Really try to use that strategy to move past that mindset of casino thinking. At the end of the day, guys, the best thing about investing in crypto, regardless of how much capital you have, is that you always have your next move. Regardless of what happens, if you get wrecked on a position, if your position skyrockets, you will gradually over time start to build the skills to make better trades, and you'll always have that next move. And usually you'll make the most money after you have gotten wrecked a few times and have learned some lessons, some of the hard lessons of doing investments, especially with cryptos. As always, guys, if you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button below, turn on that notification bell, and comment below. What are your thoughts on the right mindset for investing in crypto? How do you pick your positions? And watch my next video on how to use Bitcoin analysis to become a better trader. I'll see you guys in the next one.